Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 19 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. It's obviously been a while, so I'm going to spend the first 2 minutes just talking about some quick updates about the channel and my life, but if you want to just skip till the battles, check out the timestamp linked in the description below. I'll be using the team that Hirofumi used to place second at the World Championships just a few weekends ago, of course featuring none other than Umbreon. But obviously, like I mentioned, it's been a while. I got to commentate Worlds a few weekends ago and commentated my third World Championships and third World Finals, so hopefully you guys got to tune into that tournament. It was an absolute delight to cast yet another major event, and I had a lot of fun. Finals was obviously very, very exciting, and I also got to do some Pokemon Go PvP commentary, which was super, super fun. So thanks to those that have tuned in and who have supported my commentary career. Right now, we're obviously in a pretty interesting spot where Sword and Shield is coming out in just about 2 months or so. So, in the next 2 months, I'm just going to do some fun VGC content featuring Ultra Series because we're actually still playing with the Ultra rule set up until January 4th. So, you know, I don't think it's the most exciting to watch at this point, and I know you guys probably aren't too into it. Everyone's kind of just waiting for Sword and Shield, but I still want to just make some videos here and there to be entertaining, try out some cool teams that we might have seen from Worlds or even the regionals that we have coming up. However, more importantly, the focus, of course, now is going to be focusing on Sword and Shield and what kind of content I can make going into that. So, just to give you some context outside of the game, I am actually starting my final year here in university. It's my 5th year in undergrad. I ended up doing an extra year to get 2 degrees between 2 different schools, but now it is my final year, and I haven't been making too much content in the last couple of years. You know, I haven't been nearly as active as, say, 2015, which was one of the bigger years for this channel, as well as 2017 when Sun and Moon initially came out. You know, mainly because in the last couple of years I've been really focusing on doing well in school. I transitioned to a new school last year, so focusing on my academics, focusing on my career, and what I want to do after school. But now it's my last year, and I think I'll actually have more time. And I actually specifically planned my classes last semester so that I'd have more time to make content and dedicate myself to YouTube, to community, to commentary in these upcoming months. So I have some plans for what I want to do, but, you know, like I mentioned, the first thing I kind of want to ask you guys is what kind of content you want to see from me specifically, VGC-wise, regarding this channel. So, I already have some plans. Obviously, I'm going to do a series like Road to Rank. It's kind of cool because in Sword and Shield, there's actually tiers now, so it'll be like climbing to the Master Ball tier, for example, which will be really hype. Individual Pokemon guides, especially as the Pokemon stats come out, immediately I want to focus on that, you know, in the first 2 to 3 weeks, just to give some, you know, some rundown on how these Pokemon can be used in VGC. Team building guides, of course, as well. You know, those are all the basics, but things that I'll definitely be focusing on. I actually started a Twitter thread a few hours ago asking people what they would like to see in terms of content. There have been some really great suggestions. So, yeah, if you guys have things that you want to see, especially in those first 6 weeks, because Sword and Shield come out in mid-November, but we actually don't switch rules until January 4th. So there's about a 6-week buffer where, like, you know, we're not actually be playing in Sword and Shield in terms of VGC tournaments. So in that, you know, in that meanwhile, you know, what kind of content do you guys want to see from me that you think would help you, you know, lead into the first major tournament for Sword and Shield, for example? Definitely let me know in the comments below. Let me know on Twitter as well. At this point, I don't think there will be as many people watching Road to Ranked as, say, earlier seasons or before, but I know the people that are watching this are definitely dedicated fans to the channel, so any input from you guys is greatly, greatly appreciated. Seriously, would like any feedback, any input on what you want to see, so definitely let me know. I'm also obviously going to be focusing on some things for the channel outside of just the video content that I want to make. I'm focusing on rebranding the channel a little bit, making, you know, some newer kind of, or commissioning some new kind of designs in terms of thumbnails and overlays, just to, you know, make it a little bit more appealing. I actually need to buy a new computer as well. I've been using the same laptop to make content since 2015, so definitely way overdue, but hopefully that should result in higher quality content as well. Anyway, I've been talking for a lot. I don't want to commit myself to a schedule, especially this early on, because, you know, I haven't been too great at doing that in the past historically, so I kind of just want to get a feel of what you guys want to see and then go from there, especially when the games come out. But just know that I'm really, really excited to be making content in Sword and Shield. You know, I haven't been too invested in VGC, or especially the last 2 years in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so a brand new game, that should be super, super exciting. Anyway, I've been rambling enough. Let's actually play some VGC matches today. It's actually, I think, a new battle spot season, so we are back down to the 1500s. You know, I might just try to make one final push and see how high I can climb in this last battle spot season in Sword and Shield. Before Sword and Shield come out, I should say, because I think that'd be pretty exciting. We're up definitely against a pretty interesting team today. There's a Regigigas, there's a Palkia, there's an Yveltal. Those are definitely, it's an interesting combination of Pokemon, I should say. Like I mentioned, I'm using the team that Hirofumi, the Japanese national champion, used to get second at the World Championships. There isn't a team report, like I said, I believe, of this team yet, but I just estimated the spreads. It's a really fun team, and it features Umbreon, so I think I'm going to bring Umbreon into this first match. Anyway, it's like a dual Mega team. You have Trick Room and Tailwind with the Salamence and the Necrozma. I mean, Lele here just kind of destroys a lot of things, especially the Palkia and the Yveltal, so that seems like a pretty clear Pokemon to be bringing. I actually definitely am going to bring the Umbreon here. It's really good, especially because it can take advantage of Yveltal. So, let's see. Lele, Umbreon, Groudon for sure. Groudon's just really good here as well. And last one is interesting, especially because the Ditto's actually kind of scary to go up against. I think I'm going to lead Lele for sure. The question is, do I even want to go with either of these Megas? Because I definitely could be bringing Necrozma. Although that's actually not too good against Yveltal, so I'm actually going to go Lele, Salamence, Groudon, and Umbreon. I think you could definitely bring Necrozma into this matchup. But I want to highlight why Umbreon was able to get second at Worlds. It's because of its immense bulk, its ability to match up really well against a lot of restricted Pokemon. And in this matchup, actually, because my opponent has the Yveltal, Umbreon can actually take advantage of that. So, yeah. Anyway, good to be back. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like in the video. Really appreciate it. Based off how many people engage with this video, I'm going to kind of get an estimate of how often I'll be doing Road to Ranked in at least the next couple of weeks. But, yeah, leaving a like and, leaving a comment definitely lets me know that people are still interested in watching this series. Especially because I know right now it's, like, the end of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I know Ultra Series was also not exactly the most fun to watch for a lot of people. So, yeah, giving any insight in the comments would definitely be very appreciated. And sorry for rambling on a lot, but of course it has been a while. Anyway, it's going to be now you go and Yveltal here as a lead, which is a little bit scary as a Salamence, I think. The other question is now you go Focus Sashed. I mean, one's play that I could make, and of course this is Scarf Lele. And I am more worried about now Ego than I am about the Yveltal. Because I don't have great ways to hit it, other than Lele Psychic and Groudon Precipice Blades. And I got the Intimidate off against Yveltal. So I think turn 1 I'm just going to launch a Psychic into now Ego. I'll Mega and go for a Tailwind. Yveltal here could go for a Tailwind as well, but if it doesn't, then Groudon will have the speed advantage. Umbreon can definitely match up pretty nicely against Yveltal, I'm not too worried about that. If now Ego isn't Sash, it's just going to get pretty much wrecked. So we'll see if it protects here. It does protect, okay. But if Yveltal, for example, doesn't knock out the Lele with the Z move, then I'll just be able to Hyper Voice Psychic this next turn. So we'll see what move it opts to go for, but either way I Tailwind here just to cover for the Yveltal potentially Tailwinding as well. It looks like he's actually just going to opt to Snarl, but unfortunately misses the Lele, so yeah, that's definitely not great for my opponent. I mean, I don't think it mattered too much in the sense that I could still just go for the same play I'm going to make here, which is doubling up on Now You Go with a Psychic, and I'll still just Hyper Voice here. Hyper Voice covers for Sash. Yes, I'm at -1, but get some chip damage onto Yveltal, which could be quite nice as well. So, we'll see what my opponent switches out to. Yep, he's going to make the swap. Into Ditto, actually, which is kind of exciting. It's definitely a good switch in here for my opponent. If the Yveltal doesn't Tailwind, though, I'll still have the speed advantage, even if that is Scarf Ditto, which most Dittos are. Okay, so Psychic actually does some good damage there. And is that red card? Oh, interesting. Okay. And Umbreon is out. So we obviously know it's not a Scarf Ditto, which means that Salamence can just double edge that slot next turn to get a knockout. And my Snarl did like, or sorry, my Hyper Voice did like nothing to that Lele, which makes me think that might be AV Yveltal. Either way though, I got Umbreon out, which is exciting. We know Ditto's moveset obviously. I could also Helping Hand double edge Yveltal. That's kind of tempting. It won't knock out though. This Salamence is not physically invested. I think turn 1 this turn I'm just gonna Snarl the Yveltal and oops, not Tailwind. And double edge the Ditto. Ditto probably has to switch out, but if you switch into, for example, now you break a potential Focus Sash and then Lele can just kind of obliterate it. So, yeah. I don't know, my opponent obviously has some interesting Pokemon. Yveltal, Now-Ego, and Ditto, however, are all actually pretty strong. Ditto definitely made an appearance at the World Championships on Gabriel Gatti's team. Ooh, that's a cool option. That should have knocked me out with the Intimidate, though, yeah. But Double Edge here should get the knockout onto the Ditto, and that's good because that copied Lele is actually one of the bigger threats to my Umbreon. Yeah, so Umbreon is out on the field now. It's not doing any damage, but that's fine. I don't really need it to. Yveltal being at -1 attack and special attack means it really can't do any damage to me at this point. It can keep snarling, but that's fine. Kind of just waiting for position to Groudon to come out as Palkia actually comes out. Okay. So this is interesting. I think because it's the last turn of Tailwind this turn, I'm actually going to protect my Salamence so that I can get another turn of Tailwind because it will just fall to a Sucker Punch. So a pretty free play to make here is just Snarl because both of these Pokemon are, specially based. Protect the Salamence and then next turn Tailwind, and then I have 3 more turns of Tailwind for Groudon to take advantage of. If Yveltal is Assault Vest, which I think it is, then I can kind of just target down that slot. Palkia, once it gets Snarled, really can't do any damage against me. So I think we're in a pretty good spot right now, especially because Scarflight can hit everything for very solid damage. My opponent actually makes a nice call, though. Doesn't end up going for the Sucker Punch there with Yveltal. But that's fine. I just don't think my opponent can do much against Umbreon right now. As Spatial Rain actually comes out. I wonder if it crits here onto Umbreon. No, that really doesn't do too much damage. Yeah, I mean, so she's going to click Snarl as well, but that's fine. There is the Citrus Berry here on Umbreon. I guess the downside is if I fall to a Spatial Rain crit this turn, that could be kind of scary. But this next turn, I'm just going to Snarl again and Tailwind. Yeah, by getting the Tailwind up, like I mentioned, it allows for Groudon to just be outspeeding things, and I can just Helping Hand go for attacks. And my opponent doesn't have too much to really deal with the Umbreon right now. So, once again, not Sucker Punching, but a good play for sure. Hydro Pump comes out, which is kind of questionable. I don't get that. Spatial Ren feels like the more consistent option because it can crit, and it's more accurate. And you don't have to worry about a Groudon switch in, so it was kind of weird to see, in my opinion. But that's fine. We get the Tailwind up more importantly, though, and now these two Pokemon really can't do anything, and Umbreon is doing exactly what I needed to, which is just wall these Pokemon, because now I can just bring in Groudon, and I can just heal all the way back up with Moonlight. So, we're in a very good spot right now. Yeah. As terrain actually disappears, but that doesn't really end up mattering. Anyway, this is also quite good because obviously Tapu Lele has the type advantage against Yveltal, Palkia, and Now-Ego. It can one-shot any of those. Actually, not the Yveltal. But here I think I'm just going to... I could go for 2 plays. I could Moonlight. But I'm leaning towards Helping Hand Fire Punching Yveltal. Because if I can knock out Yveltal, then you can't just protect Palkia. We know the Yveltal... Sorry, Palkia and Now-Ego out at the same time. It's just that he could Spatial Ren crit the Umbreon, so I'm a little bit more inclined to Moonlight. I am, I guess, worried about a foul play in Spatial Ren onto the Groudon, though, so let's Helping Hand Fire Punch here. Yeah. If I knock out Yveltal, too, that means that Tapu Lele can just lock itself into Psychic instead of Moonblast, which is also better for the endgame. Okay, so no protects or switches. I was thinking Yveltal might switch out there into Now-Ego. We actually don't get the knockout there either, which is a little unfortunate. Worried about Spatial Ren foul play right now onto Groudon. I should survive that, but let's see. Yeah, we do survive. Okay. That's fine. There is no terrain now, so I actually am a little bit worried about Sucker Punch on the Groudon. I don't think that would knock out with it being intimidated. But to play it safe, I could switch out Umbreon into Lele. And Fire Punch the Yveltal. I like that, yeah. Because then I knock out Yveltal guaranteed. Even if Palkia knocks me out, I'll have Umbreon and Lele out. Helping Hand Fire Punch not getting to knockout there was a little unfortunate, though. Yeah. Oh, wow, that's perfect for us. That wins us the game for sure, then, I think. I was worried about Sash Now Ego, because then I have to play the end game with, yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, I was actually not feeling too great about the position I was in, just because I took way too much damage on the Groudon. For example, had she doubled up into the Groudon there, would have made things a little trickier, because then Groudon falls, Yveltal falls, but then it's Lele and Umbreon against Palkia and now Ego. And then, basically, in order to win that, because you're going to double protect with both, and then so I would Psychic the Ego. Ego would knock out Lele, I would Snarl, and then I would basically need to not get crit by Spatial Rends. And, like, when I'm playing that game, it's kind of scary because Spatial Rend obviously has a higher crit chance. Anyway, now it is the last turn of Tailwind. What do I want to do? I'm wondering whether it's actually better to Moonblast here. Yeah, because I am worried about now Ego kind of going to town. I'm going to Moonblast some Precipice Blades here. I think my opponent probably just double protects, but I'm worried about Sash now Ego. Like, Palkia shouldn't be Sash, so if it does double protect, actually neither protect, but I'm worried about Fairy Resist Berry, but it doesn't look like it has that. Oh, it actually survives. But yeah, because my opponent doesn't protect, Groudon just gets the Precipice Blades off. Interesting decision not to go for the protects there. Now Ego actually ended up not being Sash, so we were good anyway. Okay. Probably a Z move then. But definitely an interesting game. I mean, yeah, Regigigas did not make an appearance, but I feel like that was closer than it probably should have been. Mainly because, like, that turn I mean, both Pokemon survived from my super effective attacks, which I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. Like, Palkia and Yveltal are, like, decently bulky, but still. I'm trying to think what I could have done better. Probably bring Necrozma. Like, Necrozma with the Z move obliterates the Palkia, the now Ego. But I really wanted to bring Umbreon. And I thought Salamence with Tailwind support was important in this game, which I think it actually ended up being, so no regrets on that one. I don't know, I don't feel like I played, like, particularly bad, but it still, like, was too close for comfort. If anything, I guess maybe Helping Hand Precipice Blading the Palkia, but if Palkia protects there and I just eat up a foul play, that's really bad for me as well. So, yeah. Alright, we're up against a Mewtwo Groudon team with what looks like is a Mega Aerodactyl, which actually, Mega Aerodactyl did top cut the World Championships this year on Eduardo Cunha's team, who I think he got top 16, and yeah, I don't think we got to feature the Mega Aerodactyl too much on stream, but definitely a really, really cool Pokemon choice. Obviously incredibly fast, can hit with Rock Slides, and more importantly, Tailwind control. So, let's see. This definitely feels like a game for Umbreon, right? I'm up against a Groudon and a Mewtwo. What do I want to pair it up with? Kangaskhan's normally supposed to be running Return, but this one just has Double Edge for now. Necrozma's quite good as well. I do have to worry about Trick Room. All my Pokemon are decent here. I don't feel that great about my Lele. Kangaskhan is not that great because I don't want Low Kick. I'm thinking Salamence, Groudon, Necrozma, and Umbreon. The other reason I don't like Kangaskhan too much is with Tapu Lele out on the field, I can't Fake Out, which takes away one of its best uses. And the Intimidate's nice from Salamence for the physical attackers. Alright. Yeah, let's go with that. I think Necrozma might be a better lead, but I'm already locking in at this point, so, whatever. With Salamence Groudon, the thing is, like, Groudon puts on a lot of pressure against my opponent's team. I do have to worry about potential wide guards, though, from Stakataka. That could be a major issue. But that is why Necrozma is coming out in this game, because, of course, this one's running Earth Power. It's going to be an interesting dynamic, though, because both teams have Tailwind and Trick Room, potentially. I would assume Stakataka has Trick Room and that Aerodactyl is Tailwind, so... yeah, both of the teams that made it to the finals of Worlds were kind of this, like, turbo room where you have Trick Room and Tailwind, and both of them featured Groudon, so it's interesting to see that the top Japanese players opted for that meta call. Obviously ended up working quite nicely. The initial Intimidate from Salamence here is great, for sure. We're going to trade Intimidates here, but I'd say I have the better end of it because Groudon puts on a lot of pressure right now. I could choose to... I mean, my opponent has a lot of plays here. Incineroar's going to be an awkward spot where if you click Fake Out this turn, what do you do next turn? You can't do any damage against both of these, so you're pretty much forced to U-turn. Or switch out if you're not tailwinding to get the U-turn off. Before I move. Aerodactyl is out though, which is cool. Nothing on his team can take a Precipice Blades in the back, so surely Incineroar fakes out Groudon here, so I wouldn't mind just trading Tailwinds here. I feel like that's not too bad for me. And clicking Precipice Blades here. Yeah. I mean, Aerodactyl could be running Skydrop as well, but you can't Skydrop Groudon. I think you have to fake out Groudon this turn. But then my opponent's just in such an awkward spot the next turn as well. At most, like, you can Rock Slide, but a -1 Rock Slide shouldn't do too much to Salamence. I think maybe I can take 2. And if I get the Tailwind up, then Groudon should be putting on pressure basically against a lot of the things in the back. I just want a Tailwind here so that my opponent doesn't get a free switch out next turn with Incineroar. Although maybe, actually, I could have saved my Tailwind for next turn, the more I think about it. Aerodactyl, of course, it does have access to Ice Fang as well, so it could go for like an Ice Fang here. We'll see if it actually opts to. I don't think that actually knocks out Salamence at -1 attack, but I'm not sure. Oh, man. That's sick. Oh, that's sick. Please flinch me. Flinch me, please. Flinch the Salamence. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's one way around it. No, you flinched the wrong thing. Okay, well, I could maybe get another Tailwind up. I mean, what I was expecting there was a Fake Out and a Tailwind. Instead, my opponent gets a free Fake Out onto a Groudon, basically, and gets a Tailwind up. The flinch went on the wrong thing. Had Salamence flinch there, and I got in the Precipice Blades off, which was by far the best case scenario, then that actually wouldn't have been a bad turn at all. Definitely unfortunate there, though. Nice play by my opponent. Snatch is cool to see. The upside is now I actually have the Tailwind advantage, so I have one extra turn of Tailwind. It's just that I've taken a lot of damage with Salamence. Yeah, he's going to U-turn. But the upside is whatever's coming in is eating up a Precipice Blades. Yeah, it's going to be at -1 attack, but it's still better than nothing. Anyway, nice play, man. That's cool. Snatch and Incineroar. So we've seen Snatch and U-turn, which means it's obviously limited in terms of what else you can be carrying. It has to be some combination of Fake Out, Snarl, Flare Blitz, Knockoff, even Protect, but that's not too common. Unless you're running, like, Insignium Z. But, yeah. Huh, Snatch is interesting, though, yeah. Kind of risky to go for that play on turn 1, because, like, my opponent did just opt to try to flinch me there, too, which was interesting. Mewtwo is out, though, now. Okay. Which I obviously have to be very careful about. Ah! 2 flinches in a row on Groudon is not pretty, though. That sucks. I think Aerodactyl just clicks Rock Slide here to knock out Salamence. That's really frustrating. Maybe I should have gone the Tailwind or Trick Room out this game. I can switch Salamence out into Necrozma. Maybe even double switch, because I don't want to take a Psychic type attack from Mewtwo. I'm just worried about it going for like a nasty plot or something wild. I don't mind the switch too much though. Yeah, let's double switch. Umbreon's really good against Mewtwo and Aerodactyl. That just stinks. Like if I didn't flinch in either Precipice Blades attempts, like Incineroar's down to 25%, Mewtwo's down to like 50% where it should get KO'd from an attack from either Pokemon. But that's the game. It's kind of annoying, but what can you do? That's pretty much the worst possible outcome so far to start this game, though, honestly. Other than me, I guess, matching the Tailwind. But that doesn't really help me right now because my opponent's faster anyway. Did that go to Necrozma? Oh my goodness. Wow. You can see how bulky Umbreon there is. That was a crit and it still took that like a champ. So it's the last turn of Tailwind, so I don't see much reason not to protect the Necrozma here to play it safe. I'm worried about Focus Blast Mewtwo, though. That is kind of scary. Kind of want to just Foul Play for more damage right now to get rid of the Aerodactyl. But we saw the Shadow Ball from Mewtwo, so... I'm still going to Foul Play Aerodactyl, I think. Yeah, and then I'll have a turn of Tailwind this next turn. Oh, I should have Ultra Bursted, though, so I could use the Z move next turn. But Aerodactyl actually switches out, which is unfortunate, into Incineroar, so that's a nice switch in by my opponent. It's relatively predictable as well. I haven't been playing too well this game, slightly because of the Precipice Blades misses, but I don't know. Okay, Mewtwo ends up protecting. Okay, so we know it's not choiced, which is important information. That's a nice play by my opponent. Yeah, there wasn't too much I could really get around that. Very safe play, for sure. I do wish I hit either Precipice Blades earlier, but it's definitely not over by any means. Okay. So we know Mewtwo has Shadow Ball, which I don't resist at this point. I have an extra turn of Tailwind right now, but I just protected with Necrozma. So he could theoretically Fake Out and Shadow Ball the Necrozma. So I think I give up the Salamence here because I think Necrozma is way too important to me right now. And I go for a Snarl here onto the Mewtwo. Part of the reason I didn't Ultra Burst last year was because the Rock Slide immunity, or sorry, resistance against Aerodactyl was actually quite nice. I think he has to Fake Out the Necrozma. Wow, he didn't? I guess, yeah, like, what's the Necrozma gonna do against the Mewtwo? Can't knock you out. Wait, did I just see that correctly? Did the Fake Out go into Salamence? Because I just got the Snarl off. Oh no, I have Inner Focus on Umbreon. What am I saying? Okay. That actually doesn't put us in that bad of a spot then after the Snarl. Could be Z Mewtwo. That's what I'm worried about. I don't even think Z Mewtwo knocks out me after... Like, I'm leaning towards just switching into Groudon. I think Incineroar then switches out back into Aerodactyl. But what if I went into Necrozma and tried to Trick Room? That's certainly a possibility as well. But Incineroar could just snatch me. I'll go out into Groudon. Okay. Relatively free Precipice Blaze off. I can get a relatively free one. I think the Incineroar hard switches out into Aerodactyl right now, as Mewtwo either protects or just opts to go for some kind of attacking move. I think Precipice Blade still is the best call here on Groudon. It's just for Umbreon, what do I want to do? Because I don't know if a Precipice Blades here will knock out. Foul Play might be the best course of action into the Incineroar slot to catch the Aerodactyl as it switches in. Or I could Moonlight, but I don't know if that recovery helps me out too much right now. Yeah, I'll Foul Play the Incineroar. Oh, he's just staying in. Well, that's good, because it means you don't get a free Intimidate. Unless I miss this. Okay. I was gonna say, come on game, don't be that mean to me today. Alright, I'll take that then. I mean, a Moonlight there would have obviously been amazing, but I wanted to potentially catch Aerodactyl as it switched in. So that's good. Mewtwo's blown to Protect. It's at -1 special attack. I think Aerodactyl probably comes out. I mean, if you had Lele here, I feel like you probably would have switched into Lele last turn, just to go for the Z move. This is still really scary. Especially because my opponent hasn't revealed the last Pokemon yet, and if it is Groudon, obviously that is going to give me some problems. But Aerodactyl comes out for now. Okay, what do I want to do here? I want to bait out a Z move for my opponent, so what I want to do is protect Groudon and Snarl here. But if my opponent just hard switches Mewtwo out into Groudon and Tailwinds with Aerodactyl, then I just lose the game, because then you just click Precipice Blades. Aerodactyl could also have Wide Guard, so my opponent could hard switch Mewtwo out into Groudon and go for a Wide Guard. So I actually think I go for Recovery this turn with Umbreon. I go for a Moonlight and Precipice Blades. I think that covers most of my options. I'm just assuming that I survive a -1 Z move from Mewtwo and a Rock Slide, but maybe that's a bad assumption. He does just stay in, though, in Tailwinds. Okay. It is Z move. See, my other play there was to bait out the Z move by Protect and Snarling. But, like I said, I lose instantly if the last one is Groudon and you just hard switch Mewtwo out into Groudon. Yeah, the misses made this game a lot harder for me, but could have played better as well. Let's see if this knocks out, though. If it doesn't knock out, then maybe we're still okay. Okay, nice. Ideally, we actually don't knock out the Mewtwo here. So then we don't give a free switch it into Groudon. Nice. Okay. Okay. This is definitely doable. This might be an Umbreon carry game, honestly, guys. Okay. I think now Mewtwo Shadow Balls Groudon. It's just a question of, do you hard switch out into your Groudon? I don't want to give it a free switch in. I think Umbreon is the win con right now. Aerodactyl isn't that scary to me. It's mainly the Groudon. I'm going to protect Groudon this turn. It's just a question of what I do with Umbreon. I think he probably just Shadow Balls with Mewtwo into that slot. I need to burn the Tailwind. I think I'm going to Foul Play. The question here, does he commit to hard switching Mewtwo this turn? And he does. Ah! That's obviously annoying because I could have Foul Played there into the Mewtwo slot. But that's kind of a tough play to make, because if he stays in and just Shadow Balls, then kind of in a tricky position. It's not looking great, but it's still possible to win this for sure. Because I'll burn 2 turns of Tailwind basically through Groudon protecting this turn. If I don't get flinched here with Umbreon. Yeah, he did Wide Guard. Okay, to cover the... Yeah, that makes sense. So we've seen Wide Guard, Tailwind, Rock Slide. So no surprise there. This ends up being a net benefit, a net positive turn for us, I would say for sure. As Foul Play does so much damage, wow. Okay, this next turn, Groudon Precipice Blades for sure. So I think I go for a double protect with Groudon, because if I get it, then, you know, it's great. My opponent has 2 turns of Tailwind left, so I'm basically playing around that right now. I think I just go for the knockout here on an Aerodactyl. Just worried about getting flinched again. The other alternative is just getting some healing off. I want to Foul Play. Question is who? I think I go for Aerodactyl because then Necrozma will be faster. You could protect Aerodactyl here though. Do we get the double? Oh, we do. Interesting. Okay. Umbreon avoids, so no flinch chance this turn. So, some RNG coming back in our favor. That's great. Okay. Well, now the question is, what does Mewtwo have? Does it have a way to hit Umbreon? We've seen Psychics, Shadow Ball, Protect. So if it's not Focus Blast, we're actually good. Mewtwo's out. Last turn of Tailwind coming up. I sacked the Groudon here, yeah. I mean, he clicks Precipice Blades with Groudon anyway, but the reason it makes sense to go for the double is because then he has to hit more Precipice Blades, basically. So I'll go for Precipice Blades. And if, for example, if he just missed on Groudon here, the game's instantly over. The question now, once again, is who do I target with Umbreon? Leaning towards just Foul Playing the Mewtwo, I think, to get the knockout, because then it's 2v1 and I should definitely win that. He's just Shadow Balling. Okay, I think we're good here then. Unless he crits Precipice Blades. He needs to crit Precipice Blades and hit on both Pokemon to win right now. So hopefully no crit. Nice. Let's go, Umbreon. Let's go. That's why you got second at Worlds. Woof. Okay, now Necrozma should be able to win this one for us. Yeah, even if he crits Umbreon, I think he's going to need a crit Umbreon to get the knockout this next turn. I'm just going to click Moonlight. As Tailwind Peters out. Perfect, perfect. So we bring out Necrozma. We Ultra Burst. Go for Earth Power. Yeah, I don't think my opponent needs to double crit, I think. Because I think I survive with Umbreon, actually. Just make sure I click Ultra. Gonna double check that, because that's how we lose the game. Yep. Okay, quick Earth Power. And let's just go for a Moonlight in case he protects for whatever reason. So we got a little bit lucky with the double. I don't think the double ended up mattering too much, but the Rock Slide avoiding Umbreon was huge because it meant that there was no flinch chance. But in all honesty, I do think it makes up for the earlier double flinch on some my Groudon. So we should be good here, barring a double critical hit. Let's see. Still possible. Still possible. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Good game. Yeah, I mean, the reason to Moonlight there with Umbreon is if I get crit, I lose anyway. If I Moonlight, I heal all the way back up, and then Umbreon just becomes an insta-win condition. I don't think it actually ends up mattering. I think I could play that endgame in a bunch of different ways. Let's not time out here, because it would be bad. Yeah. Earth Power here just seals up the deal. I guess if anything, what it covers for is actually Rock Polish Radon. Not that that's too common, but yeah, if he Rock Polishes there, and actually, Foul Play would get the knockout anyway, so yeah. I think any combination of attacks works there. I just need to not get double crit there, basically. So, whew, we end up pulling that one out after a really crazy start, after getting our Tailwind snatched and the double flinches onto Groudon. But, I mean, I'm happy because I brought this team to feature Umbreon. Of course, this was built by the Japanese national champion who got second in Worlds, Hirofumi. A really cool team, and I mean, I think Umbreon definitely demonstrated itself in that last episode, or in this episode. So, yeah. Really happy about that one. It is, like, not surprising to see it get second at Worlds because it has such a good place in the metagame against a lot of Pokemon. I mean, you saw how much... Like, we went up against more niche restricteds with Palkia and Mewtwo today, so as we get a little bit higher in this season, I'm sure expect to see a little bit more, standard teams, but Umbreon was designed to beat the best players at Worlds, so yeah. Really fun to be able to feature it, and looking forward to playing some more. As always, if you guys enjoy Road to Rank, please show your support by leaving a like in the video. I'd really appreciate it. Like I mentioned, in the next 2 months or so, I'm basically just gearing up for Sword and Shield, but I'll do some Road to Ranked uploads every now and then, just to keep the VGC content entertaining and going. And yeah, there are still a couple of, obviously, tournaments within Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and Ultra Series, so yeah, I mean, still reason to be playing and watching for sure. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a while, but missed you guys. Let me definitely know what you want to see in terms of Sword and Shield content for VGC, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, peace.